Okay, we have a standard milkhouse heater, Intertech, made in China. That fan quit running, just hums. Normally you can get some extra time out of these by oiling the fan. And so what we have to do first is try to take it apart. We'll see if we can get the metal case off. Enough to get in and clean the dust out. And I think I should probably take the back off because the front has these knobs and panels. And I think I'll start with the back. I just took off the other screws. We'll probably end up having to take both off, but if all I need to do is put a little 3-in-1 oil on the fan and get some of the dust out of it. Been making milkhouse fans since at least the 1950s. My dad built a grade A dairy milkhouse on the farm in, yep, there's a screw on the top, in 1951, I believe, 51 or 2, and he was required to have heat in it, and so he had bought a milkhouse fan, electric heater like this. Didn't really like it because running it regularly used a lot of electricity. And farmers generally, okay, we've got the inside here, and this is the fan, a simple little motor that has a bearing here and then a bearing on the front side of that motor that we can oil. Take a sponge and wipe off some of the dust. Dust isn't good in these because it does get hot and you could probably start a fire if your dust burned up. My wire is going through the case. Yeah, that's better. Okay. So, it does feel kind of stiff. So let's take our oil. I got this long tube oil thing. We'll put a couple of drops on that bearing. Should, if I get it oiled up good, it should just turn freely. There's really not much to these. Cheap fan with a bunch of heating coils down here, and the fan blows through the heating coils. Well, it's not loosening up much. So the bearing has, let's do it this way. I got the bearing has two sides. I got a can of air electronics duster. So I'll get in where I can't get at it too good otherwise. Okay. Now, usually there's a little bit of movement in and out that helps work in the oil. So I'll put a drip carefully, a drip down there. I think it runs a little smoother. Okay, now the front bearing, which you can't really see, maybe I can turn it like this. Anyway, I can get at the back of it and the front of it on either side here. So a drip and a drip. Let's see. It's not really, should spin much freer than that. Well, I'll put just a little more oil. I don't think I'm quite working it into the bearing. Suppose the bearing is worn. Usually you put oil on it and then it'll run for another month or so, and then it gets in the habit of needing regular oil. Dripped a little extra down in there. Well, obviously it's still not running the way I would hope. We'll try just another. Okay, it's turned off on the front, so I'm not going to see if the fan wouldn't start up before. Let's see if it'll start up now if I plug it in. Alright, it's plugged in. I got it just turned on fan. Perfect. Now let's try some heat. I'll put it on low. Had my hand on the other side trying to decide if there's any heat coming out of it. Not yet. Down there on the bottom, you see this thing. This is the switch that if you tip it over, shuts off. It's a magnet, so it has to be sitting just the right way to run. Low doesn't give me any heat. That means the piece in there isn't. Now I'll put it on high. Okay, that brings out heat. So the low, there's a bunch of switches down there, and the low one isn't working. Only works on high. Let me unplug it, or let me turn it off. Unplug it. The actual switch here for turning the heat on and off is a couple of, when you turn it, it's magnet, and it pulls down it makes a contact between a set of points, and I'm guessing that either the points are burned on low or probably burned or something. So let me get my fine sandpaper. Let me shut this down a minute. Okay, so I had decided that these little points that go together are maybe the problem. So I'd like to just touch them up with sandpaper, if I can get at it. These wires are sort of in the way. I could take the whole switch out of there, but I don't really care because if it does just work on high, that's alright too. So first you get a fingernail file from your wife's purse, and then you take and see if you can gently slide it between what you assume are some points in there. This is actually the switch. This thing pushes this thing between two points. If I pull it out, let's see. Pull it out. Oh, I just tipped my oil. We have to get the knob off. I assume it's just a slip-on knob, yep. And then it's has a nut on there that I need to get a pliers for. Okay, so here's our switch, and we take the clamp off if we can. Sometimes they have a lock on them. Looks like this one does. Well, let's just see if we can see. Okay, I need my glasses, my reading glasses. So when I turn this, it bends a strip of metal, and I can see here are the points. I don't know if you can see that, but I can see them. So I'll just take a little bit of clean up. I can't quite figure out how it does high and low. You'd think there was 2 points. Well, I don't feel like I am quite wanting to monkey with that. I'll probably mess it up rather than fix it. So let's screw this on. We have to get it mounted the right direction. It is, so that the knob lines up like it's supposed to. And the knob can only go on one way. Well, let's see what happens, shall we? I got it turned off. I'll plug it in. What's the chances I made it so it won't run at all? Okay, fan. Gotta turn the thermostat up. See, the thermostat adjusts some other circuit in there. See now, look at that. It's stuck again. So my my fix didn't fix it. Oh, it feels stiff in there again. Well, let's dump a little more oil. I'm getting generous with the oil. Let's see what happens now. Okay. Thermostat up. Oh, and it quit. Oh. If I turn the thermostat too far, there's just one place. If I turn it beyond there, and there it goes. Ah, this other switch has got troubles in it. That's it. Intermittent. Okay, let's try heat. So I wouldn't start with the heater on. Now the fan is slowing down like it shut off. Yeah. There's high. Stiff. So the bearings are not actually getting enough lubrication or something. Well, since we're not having much success, let's try pulling the bearing off and seeing how it looks, shall we? Probably the whole motor comes apart now. Alright, it's interesting. It's unplugged, so I'm safe. So there's a bronze bearing in there. This is the magnet. Doesn't look like the armature has been running, there it really spins nice. So when it's in the, as long as I'm here and I can move this in and out, let's really give it a chance to oil up, shall we? There's a brass or a bronze probably bearing there. Now I'll slide it in and out a little bit to get that bearing really nicely oiled. Okay. We'll put a little oil in the bearing here too. Soak it up good. I guess the screws, everything here, if it doesn't line up perfectly, then the fan doesn't run freely, which is what it's doing right now. So as we get it closer to being tightened, we'll do a little bit of slipping it one way or the other just to see if we can give it any that's pretty good. Now let's tighten her down and see if it gets worse. That's pretty good. Well, maybe I got it oiled up better now. Runs free. So I should plug it in again and we'll see if we got any. Make sure it's turned off. See if we got it any more likely to run. Okay, fan on, thermostat turning up. Ooh, listen to her go. Yeah, the furnace running in the background. Okay, now we're going to try low heat. We'll give it a little chance to see if it does anything. Doesn't appear that the low heat does anything. But it runs good. So okay, here goes high heat. There it slows down, immediately starts to warm up. Okay, we'll turn the thermostat off. Look at it coast. On. Well, I didn't get low heat, but we'll try it out and see. Put it back together and see what we get. And unplug it again. Essentially, all that I really did was oil the motor. Okay, so put a screw in the top. Let's start a screw up here. It was a little bent there. And I took out the ones I didn't need to take out on this side. Well, I gotta line this up on all corners. On the bottom. put one in the bottom. Stripped it. All back together. Let's plug it in and see what happens. Now on this, that's off. That's fan, low, high. Nothing happens unless you turn the thermostat up to the level where it kicks in. So with fan, I just get fan cool air blowing. Low doesn't work. High, you can hear the motor speed come down. Okay, now it went off because the thermostat warmed up enough. Well, sort of, it's usable, but not on low. No heat on low. Cools back down again. Well, let's get another month or two out of it, maybe.